Hey everybody, what's going on? Barrow here, back inside of Borderlands 2, and today I want to answer a question that I actually get quite a bit, and well, let's just kind of go over it. What is the best class inside of Borderlands? Well, in order to answer that question, we need to really figure out what exactly is considered the best. I've always gotten this question, I've always given the answer the same exact time, but let's go a little bit more in depth. The simple answer to that question is that there is no best class in Borderlands. They all have their own unique attributes to them that makes them, the best in their own way. So we're going to kind of go over, going over a few things for each of the classes. Since we're playing as Salvador, let's go ahead and go over him. Salvador is considered the best because, well, he's very overpowered. He's very difficult to be killed. He doesn't go down that often, and he has a lot of damage. This is why everyone says he's the best. Well, now let's take a look at the leveling side of things. Salvador is an absolute pain in the ass to try and actually get up to level 72 if you're not rocking a Herald 90% of the time. In fact, leveling up as Salvador can be one of the worst experiences I've ever had because he just doesn't work with leveling up. You're trying to mix two guns that just aren't meant to be hip-fired half the time, and you have to be so picky with what you find that you just don't like the experience. Yes, Salvador does have a lot of damage and a lot of survivability, but outside of that, he doesn't really have much going for him. In addition, when you look at speedruns, if you go for the any percent, which means that you're starting a brand new character, he is literally the worst character in this game for speedrunning. Now, if you go, Norfleets and Bada-Booms, then yeah, he's pretty strong. So there's Salvador. Obviously considered one of the best, but not exactly the best. He's his best in his own right. Now let's take a look at the other characters, because I'm sure people are going to say, what's so good about Axton? Well, Axton, he's actually the best speedrunner. What? Exactly. Axton, even in the UVHM, is one of the faster times. He's actually faster than Salvador for the UVHM run. And why is that? Because he can kill his own turret for damage and speed. So, while he may not be the strongest, he is definitely the fastest, which is interesting considering, he's not exactly the best thing ever, as most people would say, and his leveling up experience is actually pretty good. In fact, both Axton and Maya are some of the best leveling experiences because they're so balanced in the normal mode game, from just every possible aspect. Their damage output, their leveling experience, everything. So if you want a nice balanced experience, I always tell people go with Axton and Maya. This is not because I think that they're terrible characters and I want them to hate the game, but no, because going to normal mode with these characters is actually really good, and Axton can actually pull off some ridiculous things. Look at his TDR builds. He's able to kill bosses in seconds with the right build. Even so with Maya. Maya's raid bossing abilities suck. Period. They're terrible. They're nowhere near as good as Salvador, but that's because Maya's not meant to be a raid bosser. She's meant to be a support class, and there's no better support class than Maya. I mean, she can revive people from any point in the map. As long as you have direct line of sight with your teammate, you can snipe res from across the map, which is awesome and amazing. And that kind of support you're not going to find with other classes. In addition, she has a lot of synergy with healing with the healing and keeping enemies crowd controlled, which means, to stun them, to phase lock them, all this sort of other thing. So for, general support, you're going to want to go for Maya. Now we have a few other classes. Zero, very high melee, able to basically have enemies go after him rather than, his teammates. He can create a decoy. He can deal burst damage. He can debuff enemies so that they take 20% more damage or even more. I don't know how the state of Kunai is, but whatever. He can do all of these things, which are really nice. And then you've got Kree. He's just literally insane. He's a giant tank of damage. While he may not be the best raid bosser in the game, you throw him in a raid boss arena with a Flame of the Firehawk and a Grog Nozzle, bosses aren't going to really be able to kill him and allow your other teammates to deal some damage. So, great support class in its own right. This is what I mean by the best class inside of Borderlands. What exactly are your thoughts on this? How do you feel about the best class inside of Borderlands? This is how I've always looked at things and why I don't always agree that Salvador is quote-unquote the best. They all have their different aspects that, you know, make them good. And then you have Gage. Now, Gage is a little bit interesting. Gage is in the same vein as Salvador. Gage is a damage dealer. She doesn't really have too much in the way of team synergy. The only team synergy she has is the, I guess you could say, the shield regeneration from Death Trap, but that's not exactly the strongest thing in the world since, well, some classes don't want to regenerate their shield, like Krieg and Zero. Also, Zero can bore things, which is pretty hilarious. That's another thing that he has going for him. Just instantly kill Hyperius with, like, any gun in the game. So that's pretty nice. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the sort of best class that people have always been asking me, and I hope you all, maybe you agree with me, maybe you don't. Let me know your opinion in the comment section below, and if you enjoy these type of commentaries, be sure to leave a like on the video, and don't forget to subscribe for future content. I want to thank you all for watching today, and I'll catch you all in the next one, everybody. Later.